Let it in. Plan is the Imperials.
Mm-hmm.
I hate how long these loading screens are. They're really annoying.
Titan 2 in formation.
Titan 5 at the ready. Titan 1 standing by. This is the beginning of the end for the fraudulent New Republic. Crush their fighters. Eliminate their flagship.
Try to keep up, Titan.
I hope your aim is as sharp as your tongue.
Got him.
We have them now. Keep it up, Titan. Corvette destroyed. Marvelous. All ships. Vegas on those frigates. Support is on the way. Rebels are falling back.
Missile active. Nice try. I'm hit.
Okay.
Now
Annoyingly, the
here.
bombs are really slow, but
Here comes a missile.
that could have gone better. Actually, I think I'll just stick with the TIE Defender because it'll take me forever to get over there with
I'm
my bomb
headed
run.
your way.
We lose much more. We'll be on the defensive. Cannot lose fighters like this. Pull back.
Incoming missile.
They destroy. Fast. Do not let the New Republic destroy our light cruisers. Oh, indeed.
Enemy locked on. Missile launched.
Strike this target.
Come on.
Enemy targeting your stern. Titan, stop their fighters before they advance on our cruisers.
Here I come. You see it. Take it out. Picked up tail.
Got a lot down to that Corvette. So could someone please destroy it instead of being so incompetent? Let them pound our cruisers. Look, A's like nearly lost half of it. Oh, hey, it's Simon. How's it going?
Time to turn things around.
Yeah, when I'm done with this stream, I'll start writing up the book, by the way.
Take it out.
Because I'm sort of thinking, you know, like I said, the main characters are like blood brothers, but that doesn't mean they have to be like the same race or anything, you know, it doesn't matter what you pick. I've got a good idea what I'm going for, so, but I'll let you pick whatever. And basically, yeah, they adventure together and stuff like that, and they become well known, but then they're faced with like a very difficult quest, like something they've never had to, you know, experience before, and it tests their limits, both of their friendship and their skills as an adventurer. Yeah, well, it's not going to be any time soon. It'll probably take, you know, a couple of months before it's anywhere near completed, but in the next week or so I could probably get 10, 20 pages or so done, maybe, if I'm lucky. At least just a bit of a beginning, so you kind of get an idea of who the characters are and that. But like I said, you know, your input is more than welcome, so you can come up with maybe some plot or some enemies they face or something, you know. It's all going to be me, especially since, you know, if I ever struggle with something, it's nice to have someone else that give an input, so. I was actually streaming For Honor before this, but like, it was going so badly, like, I think it's because the AI, being a computer, is just able to like predict your movements and come up with like the perfect counter or something, so I got absolutely annihilated on that. But yeah, you guys enjoy your pizza and watch a cool film, if you've done that already. Everyone's got an imagination, you've just gotta use it, that's all. If you don't do that kind of stuff often, then of course, you know, you might struggle coming up with stuff, but if you put your mind to it, you can easily come up with all sorts of stuff. Like, I'd never written a book before and then decided to give it a go, and the stuff I came up with wasn't too bad, you know? So it's all about, well, first of all, having a bit of faith in yourself, but you know. Yeah, I get quite tired a lot as well because, you know, with my dogs and everything, I have to like feed them or let them out, you know, really early in the morning. So I get to bed at like 1, maybe 2 AM, and then from about 5 AM onwards, I'm up and down constantly letting them out and stuff, so I don't get that much sleep after that. So I'm usually quite tired during the day, which is why I sound tired in a lot of my videos, but you know, I still keep trying anyway. I'm not gonna give up this because I've got dog. But yeah, you know, you've got plenty of time to think about your character anyway. You know, I don't feel like pressure that you have to rush or anything. And like I said, something like Skyrim-ish, so I don't know, an elf or something like that. Well, I know it's difficult taking them out sometimes in the cold, because like you don't want to go out because of how bad the weather is, but you still gotta take them out because they need the walk, you know. Sort of comes with it, but you know, it's not so bad, especially when you get used to it. You do things enough times. Like, on days where I'm going like into college, like when we were going there, of course, you know, I had to wake up at like 5 in the morning, take them out, have a shower, do all the usual routine and everything, and then, you know, I'd be ready to go. So dwarf, that'd work, yeah. Totally, and then come up with like a personality or something. And it doesn't even have to be like a stereotypical dwarf either. It could be like he was exiled or whatever because he was different and that he didn't get on with the other dwarves. You know, you can come up with all sorts of stuff for him. You know, the more you know about it, and of course you can write about it. You have to know anything and there's nothing to write about. Cool. I was thinking for my character, probably an elf, because elves have quite long lifespans. They live several hundred years, so them, like, you know, maturing is usually around like 200 years old, and elves live quite long as well, but not as long as elves.
Let's do this, Titan.
But so yeah, of course my guy would outlive yours in, you know, any like life situation. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, they become blood brothers somehow. I'll figure that out, like how they met or whatever. And then they've done a bunch of adventures together. They've gotten well known. They've made a bunch of gold and stuff like that. And yeah. And then, you know, maybe I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where it'll go completely, but I know like, sort of what the basis is. They go on an adventure and stuff like that, and I don't know, maybe something happens. Perhaps their friendship is tested, but as they're sworn blood brothers, they'll stay together through anything, even the most hardest situations.
One more for me.
And of course you come up with a name and everything, and, you know, a gender and all that sort of things. And then eventually when I get round to it, I'll also ask you for some more, like, intricate details, such as, like, their sort of facial hairstyle or stuff like that. Because obviously I'll have to, like, write up, you know, like a description of what they look like, so people can sort of imagine it. That's the one thing I like about books. I think it's why I like books more than films in a lot of occasions, because you come up with it in your mind. Like, they say what's happening, but then, you know, how, and they'll say, like, the character looks like this or whatever, and then you make up your own image. You're not, like, given a set image like you are on, like, a film or whatever, where this is what they look like whether you like it or not, sort of thing. If you're allowed to come up with your own, like, image to a certain extent, then obviously it can be more fun for you, because, you know, you can make it something you enjoy.
Imperial Raider deployed. Now take out these frigates.
Whoop.
Destroyed an enemy frigate.
Okay.
All frigates eliminated. The MC-75 is exposed.
Enemy locked on. I'm stuck in a tractor beam.
I think I managed to hit the shield generator, yeah, did a bit of damage. But yeah, so I'm totally looking forward to it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it when I get round to it. Like, when I've got a bit done, I can always let you read, like, you know, the first chapter or whatever, and everything, because obviously it's nice to have someone else's opinion, because you can obviously say that, oh, that's great, or whatever about your own work, but of course that's your own work, so you'll be biased, well, to either side. You think you're terrible, so of course you'll always have a negative opinion, and vice versa if you think they're really good. So it's better to have someone else's input in these things anyway.
They locked on. Tractor beam. Really?
We're trying to take out its central systems. The left shield generator is nearly down, and its power system's taking a hit. Okay, we've got to fall back.
Raider has been...
Let's do this, Titan. How dare you!
I mean, sure, totally. You know. What kind of questions are they gonna be? If you know, of course.
Visual active.
More than happy to help. Like I said before, I was interested in history, but I never liked learning it at school because of all the essays and everything you had to do. I just always struggled with them and I usually failed. But I've always liked history, and I know a lot about history, but I just don't want to have to do all the essays and everything for someone to say, yes, you know your history. It's like, I know my history, I don't want to have to do this to prove that. You know, you said earlier about how you didn't care about, giving out your own personal details. I mean, that sounds very irresponsible, I'm just saying.
Focus fire here.
Rebel fighter has locked on.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I mean, when it comes to like video games that are either like historical or at least based during an actual time, it makes the developer's life more difficult, I suppose, in the aspect that, they've got to get it right. Yeah, personally, is within reason, such as your name, the sort of area where you live, and everything, within reason. But yeah, like, I just don't, like, one reason I'm hesitant to give people my name, I suppose, is because of how uncommon it is. Like, your name's Simon, there are millions of Simons in the world. I have, like, such a unique name that I don't even know if there's a single other person on this planet with it. So it's literally like, oh, that's your name, you look it up, there's one person with that name, oh, that's gotta be them, Of course, eventually, if my channel does grow and everything, then I'll probably end up, giving it out eventually, but not like now or anything.
Cute.
Okay, 2 seconds.
Power system taking damage. Enemy shields have been disabled. We've lost a radar.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm here.
Because like I said, like, over the past week or so, my channel has, like, grown. I'm on 26 subs now, I believe, and I was only on, like, 22, like, a week ago. So over the course of a couple of days, I've grown just by doing, like, streams and stuff. Or at the very least, like, appearing on, like, your streams. Because I know a lot of my subscribers are also people who I know through, like, streams of, like, you or some of my other YouTube friends and stuff like that, so eventually it'll grow to a point where I'll have like a stable amount coming in, sort of thing. You reach 100 and then every week or so you probably get 2 or 3 coming in, especially if you upload regularly. On this Corvette. There we go. Now we can go after there. Yeah, because I do have like one or two YouTube friends that I know in real life, so of course we know more about each other because we actually know each other. But yeah, I don't like when it comes to YouTube. It's and I think I have like a catchy name anyway.
They're locking on. There's one way to slow it down.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I suppose is, I don't want to say it's awkward or so, but, it's kind of weird, like, if you have, like, your family watching your videos, and not to say they shouldn't, but it just sort of feels weird, like, if your siblings or whatever are watching you, because you're like, they're judging me and I know who they are, so that's the thing about YouTube and that I enjoy, because in my real life, people look at you and they judge you like based on your appearance and stuff like that. They just look at you and form an opinion, whereas on YouTube that's impossible to do because they can't see me, they don't know anything about me, so they can't really form an opinion because they don't know who I am. But I do know some people who play with their family and stuff like that, which is cool. I'm just saying that it just always feels really weird for me. Well, I wouldn't say reinvent and that, because I mean, if you're trying to be someone you're not, then of course that obviously causes problems because it's not you. You can't be someone who you aren't. But I just mean that means people will form an opinion on your personality and that who they hear and interact with, not like, because like always in school and stuff like that, everybody hated me, and it was sort of like, why do you hate me? And they just seemed to form an opinion upon meeting me, like they just saw me and immediately knew that they hated me, sort of thing, But if they can't see me, then their opinion will be formed on who I am as a person. So if I'm a nice person and I seem cool and stuff like that, they enjoy watching me, and we share things in common and everything, like you and me, we get on, we talk about stuff like all sorts of Bethesda games and everything, so we've become friends not because of what we look like or anything, but because we have similar interests and we're both nice people, sort of thing, which is how I prefer it, because then when people find out who I am, they're not going to go, oh, that guy's terrible. And gotta wait like an hour for this to load. Have you actually played Squadrons yet, or have you not gone around? Have you been playing too much Age of Empires with your mates, or streaming Oblivion? Because I've just, because on Oblivion I've destroyed the Oblivion Gate, and then I've gotten into the castle in Kvatch, so I'm not too far behind where you are. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, I suppose, that some people who have come from, I don't want to say like a rich or wealthy background, but from a well-off enough, where they've gotten a lot of stuff and their life's been pretty good, they always feel like they're like superior to the people around them. Because I had a couple of people I knew in school, one of which, and that his parents had like businesses and stuff, so they were well off, so he could have whatever the hell he wanted whenever the hell he wanted it, sort of thing. And I don't want to say he was a bad person, because he wasn't a bad person. I got on with him most of the time, but then he always, I don't want to say he felt better than everyone else, but he's like, oh, I'm rich, He'd always sort of make sure to remind you of it, and money doesn't make you better. Yeah, EA games, like on here you can get like EA Play or whatever it's called, and it gives you like access to a bunch of stuff, and it also means that if you have it, you get discounts on all the other games on the PlayStation Store developed by EA, which is fine, I guess, but I don't think it's like that amazing. But I do have PlayStation Now, which is where I got a bunch of games from, like For Honor, for example. That was from PlayStation Now, because you pay a subscription, like instead of paying like monthly, I bought like a year's subscription because it's actually cheaper doing it that way. If you pay monthly, you'll pay more over the course of a year than you will if you pay for the entire year at once. And then it means after that year, if I don't want to use it anymore, I don't have to. But yeah, there's like over 700 games, and they're always adding new stuff on. So like half the games I play are actually off there, which I've got effectively for free. Yeah, I don't want to say that Xbox is bad, because it's not, but I prefer PlayStation. However, they sort of force you to get an Xbox half the time, because Microsoft, being a bigger company than Sony, they make it so a lot of games are released exclusively for Xbox, or for a limited time anyway. They're Xbox exclusive. And it also means that, on computer, you can also access your Xbox games and that through there, which means you can also play them on, your computer, which obviously makes it unfair for PlayStation users, but generally the PlayStation is just superior to the Xbox, because Sony develop consoles for a living, whereas Microsoft doesn't. Well, yeah, that's the sort of thing, how it's like, if you have like a Microsoft computer and everything, you can effectively use it like an Xbox as well, which is why I always say to people it's best to have a really good gaming computer, because you can play nearly every single game ever released on a computer, whereas if you're on console, you're restricted to the games released for those consoles. So, I would rather have a gaming computer, because then I'd have access to all sorts of stuff, and of course you can plug a remote in, so you don't have to use keyboard and mouse if you don't like it. But they're not exactly cheap in any way, especially a decent one. Like rubbish ones that only run like 1 or 2 games, Sorry, Skyrim Explorer.
Vanguard.
Let's show them what we're made of.
Gotta dodge that missile.
Wait, it's that sort of thing, because like, for example, I don't know, like Fallout, Skyrim and everything, I would like to get it on like a good gaming computer, because it'll run smoothly and everything, and I can obviously just plug a controller in, but that means everything is done on the computer. I don't have to switch consoles for certain things. Because like if I wanted to play, say, Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 or whatever, I'd have to go onto my Xbox 360, and then if I wanted to play this and stuff like that, then I would have to go onto my PS4. So I'd have to go through so many different consoles and stuff like that just to play some games, whereas if it was on PC, I'd only have to use one. But I suppose it's business for you. Take advantage of the rich and less fortunate, because they're desperate and stuff. Like PlayStation 5, for example, you can hardly get a hold of them in a lot of places, especially like in all sorts of places in America. There have literally been like knife stabbings and stuff over it, Well, I know PC can be very irritating, because like you're having that problem with Oblivion earlier with it crashing constantly. Especially if you try running like older games on PC, I suppose. It is sort of glitchy, or it'll try and load in a different version, because when I had Command & Conquer on my computer, it was designed, a lot of them were designed for like Windows XP and stuff like that. Whereas if you're running it on like a Windows 7 or a Windows 10 laptop or whatever, then of course, you've got to change the compatibility settings so that it'll run on the computer you're using. Because if it tries running on Windows XP and the computer you're using isn't Windows XP, then of course, it's not gonna work properly. It'll bring up it in the incorrect windows, or for some people, they've had a problem with it, like sort of duplicating like the menu with like Red Alert 2. It would show it up twice and everything, which would obviously like be really annoying, but, you know, sort of part of the course. But it's never stopped me, I suppose. You know, I still play like really old games on my computer and stuff like that because it can be it can be a little annoying to use them sometimes. But the fact is that I enjoy playing them, and I say to a lot of people, I still enjoy those games more than some modern games. Maybe not, but, you know, we've all got to do what's, you know, right for us, I suppose. You know, like, for now, I do all my videos and everything on my PlayStation because all the games I play are on PlayStation, and because there's actually software on here for editing and uploading and everything. You know, which obviously makes it easy. I don't have to pay to use like a separate program or transfer any of it to my computer for editing over there. I can just do it all on here and then upload it to my channel once I'm done. And of course, if I do start, you know, making videos on my computer, which probably won't be anytime soon, then I will have to do all that, but it's not that much of a problem at the moment. The one big problem I have is that if I do want to go on, say, the Xbox 360, I will have to, you know, come up with a way of capturing the footage, which isn't necessarily difficult, but expensive. Because obviously the Xbox 360 isn't exactly a modern console anymore, so... Well, yeah, for me, I've obviously spent my entire life using consoles, apart from when I played some games. I think it's easier to play a lot of, like, strategy games on computer, because, like Command & Conquer, for example, there are console versions of, like, Red Alert 3 and, Command & Conquer 3 Tiberian Wars, but the problem is selecting unit isn't as easy as just pressing and clicking in one area, then drawing a huge box over them, and then, you know, clicking where you want to go or whatever. You've got to, like, use the analog sticks to move around and select everything. But everyone is allowed their own opinion. Everyone has, you know, the console they prefer and whatever, you know. So I'm not going to get like into an argument with anyone over which console is better, because in my opinion the PS4 is better than the Xbox and stuff like that, but whatever. And if, like I said, if I could, I would play on a proper like PC with a remote plugged in, but I can't, so I don't. As annoying as it can be sometimes, I've not got much of a choice in the matter. But eventually in the future I'll probably get one, and then I can obviously transfer everything over to there, and I'll do it all on there. Cause it'd be like a lot easier to do it all on computer and everything, but you know, the easy way isn't always the right way. And especially for me, it's not an option at the moment. But it's fine because, you know, I'm still focusing like on my education and everything. Because like once I'm through college and everything, I can get a job, and then during my free time, I can record videos and everything. And then obviously, you know, I'll have a steady income as well as doing this to the point where it becomes a source of income as well as an enjoyable hobby for me to do, because like I'm not planning on doing YouTube as a career, especially not anytime soon, but I mean if the choice comes around I might, but if that does ever happen it will be very far in the future. So for now I'm just trying to get through my education, pass it preferably, as you can't really get a job if you failed all your courses. So yeah, but then hopefully I should, you know, be able to get a job off that and everything. But you know, yeah. Um, it's the thing is that I wouldn't expect to get anything like too fancy or anything, especially not like now, but like I said, once I'm through college and everything, I can then go and get a job, and that I'm just hoping by the time I get through the 2 years of college, that coronavirus isn't a problem because it is so annoying. Like I can't even get a work placement because of COVID, which is annoying because literally like part of my course is doing 150 hours of work placement and I haven't done 5 minutes. So, well, at school I did food and nutrition and health and social care, so I can go down maybe like the cooking path because I do enjoy making food, but it's not exactly my forte. As well as I enjoy it, but I suck at it. But mostly like the healthcare route, I can look after people and stuff like that or whatever. But I'm also studying like animal management, so I could become like, work at a vet's or something like that, or work for the RSPCA, something along those lines. So I've got a wide variety of options, and I passed everything at school anyway, so it's not like I failed anything. I don't have to redo anything at college. So at the very least, I will look like I am capable of doing the simplest of things. I won't be like a liability or a waste of time. And like I said, I've got a variety of things, so even if the first thing I go for doesn't work out, I've still got things to fall back on. So... A community support officer. What? Oh, what? You mean like, basically like I don't want to sound rude when I say this, but the wannabe police officers, they go around and sort out the minor things in a community, because they always came to school all the time, either to give presentations or to deal with some minor, like, offence. People skipping school and getting caught and taken back, or, like, committing things that were sort of criminals, and that, because actually, because it was kind of annoying. Like they come to the school and talk about why you shouldn't do this or whatever, and everyone was going on about how they're just flaunting their power. But yeah. Well, that's a nice job, definitely. Because I don't know what to do. In sort of like, because I prefer animals to people, not like saying I don't like you, but it basically, I'd rather be with animals than I would be with people, because people are rude, and that, if they're older than you, they try to be more assertive and stuff like that, whereas animals, they don't care who you are. If you look after them, they like you. It's, that's not a problem. And if they are aggressive or whatever, it's not because they're a bad animal, it's because they've been treated badly by humans, so of course they act that way, so, there's always that saying, there's no such thing as a bad dog, but only a bad owner, so they're more innocent. Humans, they commit crimes, they start wars over the pettiest of things, they kill each other for just about nothing, the human race is, pretty much disgusting in most ways. There are very few, good people in that compared to everyone else. There's like a very small percentage, like maybe 2%, 3% of the world's population are good people. Yeah, I know. It's because if you're taking after someone who is, disabled, or they have some sort of disability in some way, whether it be mental or physical, they appreciate your help because they are struggling and you are helping them get better or to make their life easier. Whereas if you're dealing with regular people who have no sort of disability in any way, and that, you work at a hotel, they come in, they've got to wait in a line for an hour, they somehow blame you as like the receptionist, even though it's not their fault that loads of people wanted to go to that hotel, as if, they can make any difference in it. They can't just turn everyone away and say, oh, that woman wants to come in first, so could you move out of the way, please? So, yeah, who knows what the future will hold? People always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just answer, well, I don't know. Who knows what'll happen by the time, I turn 18, by the time I'm 20, by the time I'm in my 30s. Who knows what I'll be doing for a living, who knows where my life will go. Will I be in a relationship? Will I be single? Will I have kids? Where will I live? What job will I have? All that kind of stuff. So, I just, and I never like to try and think of where my life will go, but instead I like to think what I can do to make my life better, I suppose. Because it's like most people live into like the 80s or 90s or so these days, which means I've got over 70 years left on average or so, which is more than enough time to get a stable job, have a family, whatever. And the other thing as well is I'd rather get my life in a good stable position first before I started focusing on things like relationships, because everyone in school, they have their secondary school crush and stuff like that, college crushes or whatever. They try to get with someone even though they're really young, and the last thing they should be thinking about is getting a partner, but that's all they really think about a lot of the time, which is the one thing I hate about people my age, is that focusing is very difficult, and instead they just seem more interested in girls or boys or whatever, and I just think it's annoying. It's like, if you've got better things to do in your life, you should be focusing on that, not this. Which is also probably one of the reasons they never get on with me, because I have a completely different view on the world to them. But I don't care about being popular. I just want my life to be as good as possible, because like I said, once I'm through college, I can get a stable job, have a stable source of income, then I can, get myself a car and that, I can maybe get like a house or whatever, and then I can start thinking about things like that, because if I do get in a relationship, I am able to keep a roof over their heads and stuff like that. And the other thing is, as well, is, I was actually thinking I'd rather adopt than have biological kids. Not because like I hate kids or anything, but because I always had the philosophy of, I don't want to bring more kids into this world when there are plenty of kids already in it who are suffering. Yeah, you too, Simon, so enjoy having a nice kip for the night, and I'll probably see you again tomorrow or something, undoubtedly. I'll just do this last game and then I'll come off anyway. It's like 5 to 9, so like I said, I'd like to get started on that book before I go to bed and take the dogs out and everything anyway. Well, I think adopting's, I don't know, I don't want to say that it's like the more moral thing to do, because I mean, people like to have their own biological kids. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have a kid you're actually related to by blood, but I mean, it just seems a little unfair, you bring a kid into this world, and they get to live in a house and have a family, parents, maybe even siblings and stuff like that, whereas there are kids out there who have nothing. They're living, in a building with lots of other kids and stuff like that, waiting for someone to come along and give them a home. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with, having biological kids. I would rather adopt, because then, I've done that bit of good in the world, and also I've given kids a home. I've made sure that they have a bright future ahead of them and stuff like that. Especially if if they're like disabled, because you see a lot of times, like if a kid's born, I don't know, like blind, or maybe like mentally disabled, stuff like that,
Good looking out.
Well, yeah, that's the point, it's supposed to be, the parent is supposed to give their kid, a good home, a good life, but the problem is that doesn't always happen. The kids could have you know, drug addicts or criminals for parents, in which case they don't get that support, or you know, or on the alternative, the kid could have some sort of problem, you know, a mental or physical disability or whatever, so the parents decide, I'm not taking care of this, I don't have to deal with that problem, and then of course they just decide to leave the kid, abandon them somewhere, or give them to someone else. Which obviously isn't nice, because the kid's been rejected merely because they're different. Which obviously isn't setting a good example, and it's just not the right thing to do either. Which is why, you know, it'd be nice to adopt, you know, someone who's just, like a kid who's disabled or something. You know, whether it be like Tourette's, or, you know, they're missing a limb for whatever reason, or, you know, whatever it is. Well, yeah, it's just like, I don't, because like I said, I'd like to be able to have a stable life before I thought about any of that. Because if you take a kid on and you haven't even got like your own like house or a stable source of income, how are you going to look after that kid? You know, and if you have like if you have your own biological kid at like 16, for example, you had a girlfriend, you guys had a kid, you're not ready for that. How on earth are you gonna look after it? You're still in school and stuff like that. Your parents are gonna be looking after it, not you. And it happens so often, especially like in our country. You know, kids being kids and all, they just decide to, you know, have sex with a girlfriend, and boom, they got a kid, and they were totally not prepared for it. They didn't think about the consequences of their actions. They just thought, oh, this will be cool to do, right? I can tell all my mates about it. So, being irresponsible, but kids will always be kids, I suppose. And the funny thing is about me saying that is I am a kid, but like I said before, my views differ from most people my age. You know, so one day I'll have kids, hopefully, you know, and hopefully they'll have a good life, you know, they'll have great parents, you know, they'll have a nice house and stuff like that. I don't want to say like I'm going to live in a mansion or anything, because realistically that probably isn't going to happen, but, you know, they'll have a place to call home, and it'll be a nice place. Well, yeah, I know, there are plenty of people who get together with who they think is going to be their, you know, knight in shining armor, or the love of their life, or whatever, and their relationship doesn't work out. That just happens sometimes. It's a part of life, I'm afraid. You know, and you've got to deal with that. But also some people are lucky enough that, you know, their first love is their only love, you know. They fall in love with a person and they stay together. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's nice to see, you know, these people are good for each other and they'll be together forever, sort of thing, or at least till they die anyway. But, you know, I just don't want to sound like, you know, negative whenever, but some people make bad choices in life. They bring kids into a world when they're not ready to have them, and you know, that sort of thing. And I've got nothing against having kids when you're 16. I just think that realistically, both financially and morally, it's not the right thing to do. It's a stupid choice to make, but it's a choice a lot of people have made. So, like I said, you were thinking of adopting, but decided to have your own kids, and that's fine. You want to have your own biological kids, it's not a problem. I'm just saying I would rather adopt, personally. For my own reasons. Especially like here in England anyway, it's actually not that much adoption, really. You know, like in America it's a lot bigger over there for adopting, although I suppose probably there's also a lot more like abandonment and stuff like that. Yeah, no, you know, you fall in love with your teenagers or whatever, it's more of a physical attraction than anything else. You see someone who looks really nice, and you fall in love with them. You know, you don't actually love them, you just love the way they look. And, I mean, it happens so often, as that's just sort of a normal thing. The first person you fall in love with is probably just going to be someone you find physically attractive, not like emotionally attractive or anything.
We pushed into their cruisers. Let's take down their defensive line.
But you seem like a sensible person. I mean, you've got your life on track, haven't you? You know, you've got a family, a stable job, a home and everything, so obviously you've made the right choices in life. I mean, everyone messes up at some point or another, but you're one of the people who made a lot of right choices and has reaped the rewards of it.
Apologies.
We push through the Empire's defenses. Let's finish this.
Locked onto me. Ugh, stop it! Tractor beam! Blast it!
Anyway, like I said, once I've finished this match, I'll come off, so just feel free to watch me destroy that Star Destroyer. Or you can head off, because the last 10 minutes or so won't be very interesting.
Well, I'm here, I guess.
Such you got something to do, you know, don't let me take up your time. I've had fun talking to you guys and everything, so we'll just get this game done and then I'll come off. I guess I'm going to start writing that book anyway, so it's going to take a while to do that. Yeah, it's no problem. You go now if you want. Like I said, you've been here for a while, we've had a good chat and everything, so it's smaller enough for me.
Damn tractor beam!
Our system is under attack. Star Destroyer shields back online.
Okay, I'm coming. This isn't fun.
We disabled their shields.
Do.
They're locking onto me.
Star Destroyer targeting system destroyed. Defensive positions. The Empire is advancing.
Flying to battle. That very dangerous battle.
Knock it off.
go.
Shoot that.
Destroyer power system caused a chain reaction. Look for weak points in their hull.
Made it! I picked up the tail. Got a missile on me. All in this badge.
Nearly there. Come on.
Someone warn the Empire I'm coming for them.
Enemy shields disabled. Attack that Star Destroyer.
Blow that up.
No, stupid Empire. You can do more damage by attacking something else.
There we go. We win.
That's one more victory for the New Republic.
Okay, well, now that's done is I'll end the stream. I've had fun. Another hour of doing this, an hour of For Honor earlier. So that's some pretty good stuff. So thank you guys for joining me for this stream. And of course, if you liked it, remember to like, and then obviously later on when it appears on the channel, you can obviously comment and let me know what you thought of it. And I'll see you guys on the next one, hopefully. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow unless, you know, I have like plenty of free time and I decide to. But it'll probably just be a normal video tomorrow, so look out for that. And thank you guys for joining me again, and I'll see you